Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Ali, Coram, and Shreve here with a look at the action in today's session, where we saw a big day of outperformance for the Nasdaq on the heels of some big tech earnings reports. We're going to get more after the close today, but as of now, Ken, the Nasdaq this week is saying giddy up.
Well put. Yes, indeed. We extended gains today. Saw a little bit of selling come into the market in the afternoon, but then some buying during the final hour of trading, which is what you want to see in a good market uptrend. So, three stocks to look at. Software name that we haven't looked at very often: HubSpot, HUBS, forming a good base here. 2 weeks to go until its earnings report. We talked about Paccar several days ago when it reported earnings. Maybe we're a little hesitant because it made such a big earnings move, but pulled back nicely. So let's revisit that one. PCAR, and finally U.S. Global Jets Airlines still doing well here. JETS.
Yeah, that one taking off or starting to, all aboard there. We'll take a look at those couple of tickers, but first let's analyze the major indexes. The Nasdaq today got a start there, up 3.25%. A strong move here today, led by tech. We also had small caps up nicely, with the Russell 2000 up 1.8%. The S&P 500 managed a gain of 1.5% today, and the Dow is the laggard right now, Ken, with blue chips down 0.1% today, but pretty undeniable here, the outperformance by the Nasdaq and a continued change in character.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Seeing money come in from the sidelines. I mean, the Nasdaq gapped up over the 12,000 level with ease. You can see it closed off its highs, but we're talking 7 gains in 10 trading sessions, so it's definitely at a point. You're looking at the Nasdaq up so sharply in a short amount of time, and certainly a lot of extended stocks out there now that are way past proper entry points. So probably at a point where we would expect to see some sort of pullback. But again, as we continue to mention, there are healthy pullbacks and unhealthy pullbacks. So we'll watch and see what volume looks like on the downside when the market does start to come in, because again, 7 out of 10 up days for the Nasdaq, it's probably due for a little bit of breather, and hopefully it'll be a healthy, constructive breather.
Yeah, that would be ideal, and it seems like when you get that first burst of buying in a new rally after a bear market, you can see some of this extension, but we do have to be aware that we could see a pause or a pullback. But we don't want to totally give up a lot here, but I think that makes it all the more important to be positioned properly right now, making sure we're not chasing extended stocks and looking for the right spots to get in. And as great as it would be to be fully invested or even on margin right now, Ken, I think it might be good to have some capital available for when we do get a pullback, if it's one to our liking, because that would be a great time to add more exposure.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the leaderboard model portfolio right now is just around maybe a little bit under 75% invested. So we've got adequate exposure to the market, but not fully invested, and not really at a point where we would even think of going on margin. Especially in light, we've got some tech earnings after the close, and we got a very important jobs report tomorrow that the Fed has been looking at very closely. It's been well documented that they want to see softness in the labor market to help them fight inflation, to bring prices down. They want to see wages coming down. So tomorrow's jobs report is going to be important. I don't think the Fed wants to see a huge job growth. It doesn't want to see the unemployment rate going down. It actually wouldn't mind seeing the unemployment rate going up, and it is expected to tick higher to 3.6%. But we'll see what the numbers show tomorrow and how the market reacts to it.
Great. Well, let's take a quick look at the other major indexes and a couple of ETFs before we get to those 3 stocks. So let's take a look at the S&P 500 extending its gains, clearing that 4,100 level in yesterday's session and extending gains today. We have the Dow, like I said, lagging, still hanging around this 34,000 level, which I guess we could draw a line way back here. A lot of points touching this 34,000. So it's not broken, but it is definitely lagging. I mean, look at that relative strength line. So Ken, I feel like this underscores the rotation that we are seeing out of maybe the more defensive type areas and into the growth stocks and
Yeah, no
tech
doubt
and
about it.
software and
It
chips.
it has. It's been semiconductors. It's been software stocks coming off lows. It's been the Nasdaq 100 and the Nasdaq really doing the heavy lifting. The Dow today had some weakness in healthcare. United Health Group, a big decline in the Dow. Merck had an earnings report, and some profit taking finally hit Boeing too. So some pretty big decliners in the Dow today, but it did manage a decent close, and certainly, like you said, not a broken index, holding above support levels here.
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily declare blue chips dead yet, but
Right.
yeah. So
Yeah, but we are seeing that rotation. Small caps still looking great here, extending gains, a pretty clear breakout. Next level to watch would be that round number coming right up ahead. Just a quick look at the 10-year treasury yield as well, down but off lows today. So intraday touching its lowest level in a number of months. Also just flying through a couple of other charts here. We have XLB down today, but off lows, down by about 0.3%. XLE notably weak here today in energy. So again, seeing rotation and including out of energy.
really tough to find actionable stocks at this point in the energy sector. In fact, we were talking on IBD Live when David Ryan came on, talking about some short setups possibly, but a lot of weak charts. The number of weak charts in the energy sector is increasing, and we're looking at XLE here below the 10-week moving average. So it seems like oil's probably ready to pause here, and not really going to be looking to the oil and gas sector for leadership at this point.
Yeah, he was pointing out a double top, weak rally, and then a break as the 10-week line starts to roll over. And now let's take a look at HubSpot, HUBS, enterprise software. Look at this one, Ken, up 11% so far for the week. Some strong volume coming into the stock as it forms the right side of a base. We've got 2 weeks to earnings. If you look at the daily chart here, it does look kind of stretched. So how do we handle this one?
I mean, it kind of looks stretched, just like the broad market. But this is just a classic example. Back to the weekly chart here. This is a very well formed symmetrical cut base. Another example of a bottoming base, a base that forms when a stock is near its lows. But nice accumulation as this stock has worked its way higher. You like to see that. You got those 2 big blue volume bars showing 2 straight above average volume weekly price gains, and one taking shape this week. So to me, it's likely here, rather than this stock just kind of soar past that left side high, could see a handle form here. So good one for the watch list. Still have a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks until earnings, but this is a good setup. Want to see the last remaining sellers get shaken out here, and maybe this thing can head even higher.
Okay, and now let's take a look at ticker Paccar, an engine and truck maker. It's up fractionally for the week, but it's what I think is impressive here, Ken, is that it is holding last week's big gain on earnings, where it was up 11.5% on the week, and the heaviest volume to the upside in quite a while. And it's at all-time highs. So seeing it hold that strong gain from last week, quite bullish.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to revisit it, because we talked about this stock several days ago when it gapped up on earnings. And again, people that were not comfortable about buying the gap up, maybe they weren't comfortable with the market, not feeling good about the success of technical breakouts, say, well, put it on your watch list and see what a pullback looks like. This one pulled back in pretty light volume, right down to the 10-day moving average, and it's back in that buy zone. So PCAR still looks actionable here. It's in a very, very strong industry group. Many stocks doing well in this group, so PCAR still looks pretty good here.
PCAR?
Yeah.
Not not
Paccar. Yeah.
PCAR, great. Okay, now let's look at JETS JETS, clearing a handle shelf-like formation here, tightening up right around 20 in some quieting volume, moving out today in expanding volume. So this is what we want to see. We've seen a lot of airlines really taking off, but it was great to see the price gains followed by some really tight action. I mean, this is the type of setup that we really like to see.
Yes, and that's why we put it on leaderboard today. Increased our exposure a little bit. Seeing good action in a lot of airline stocks: UAL, DA, Delta Airlines, United, American. These are top holdings of JETS. So rather than go for an individual stock, we just like the technical move here, and closed up near its highs. There was good volume in Jets today, so hopefully our entry was right here, and we'll be able to hold this one for a nice long-term gain.
All right, well, that is it for today. But if you are a Swing Trader member or trialist, you can head on over to swingtrader.investors.com. Check out the top banner because it's the beginning of a new month. So that means we have to talk about performance for the first month of the year. So really looking forward to digging into that. Our monthly Swing Trader Scorecard webinar is starting in about 13 minutes from now. So I will see you all there with the rest of the Swing Trader crew. And we've got leaderboard scorecard with Ken and the team coming up next Tuesday.
Yes, it's going to be a good one.
All right, so we'll see you then. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning on IBD Live, where we'll be joined by stockmarketmentor.com founder Dan Fitzpatrick. See you there, everyone. Have a great trading day. Bye now.